listening to The 3 Box.
Welcome to the 3 Box. I am Devin and I'm here with the usual suspects. I'm here with Eric.
Kaiser Soze.
I'm here with Miguel.
What's going on?
And Eric, do we have a special guest?
Indeed, we do. We have the director of Open Source. I've worked with this gentleman. He's also a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu blue belt under Khalil right now.
Yeah.
Formerly in Gracie Umaida.
Crianche.
Yeah.
Crianche. I'm just kidding. Just having a laugh.
And this gentleman right here, one of the most spiritual people I've ever met, Mr. Ricky Tana. So, Mr. Ricky Tana, I just have to ask, what is your current toilet paper situation?
Well, first and foremost, thank you very much, Eric and boys, for having me on today.
It's a real pleasure, man.
Welcome.
And thank you very much for the warm introduction.
Oh, good, man. I'm wearing your socks, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Open source socks. Right here.
To answer your question, what is my current toilet paper situation? I'll be honest with you, I do not fucking know.
Oh, you're not stacking it up?
Nah, he's doing it for the culture.
No,
With a pebble.
right before this whole toilet situation thing like popped off, like my girlfriend and I had already bought toilet paper from like Costco, and then all of a sudden,
box size?
yeah,
It's
and
like
like I'm sort
36 rolls,
of in between houses right now, between like my girlfriend's and my mom's. And now, like, my mom's running out of fucking toilet paper. So every day, bro, I'm at fucking Woolworths or IGA. Like, today I was at
Fighting
IGA trying to find toilet paper. Fucking nothing.
You serious? Okay. This
Go.
guy I work with
Yeah.
All right.
was in super cheap auto the other day.
Yeah.
I saw racks of it.
No
Are you
way.
Yeah, in the camping section at super cheap auto.
No way.
Oh.
Okay.
Bro, that's information you don't want to leak, bro. You said that off air.
Just beep him out.
So,
Maybe BCF has some.
Probably, bro.
BCF. Where's it?
Probably.
Auburn?
Boat.
Auburn?
Yeah,
Auburn.
the boat place.
Oh,
Camping,
right.
fishing, BCF.
Bro, even Bunnings have run out.
No way.
Yeah, bro. My mom seen it like on Facebook, and then we went to Bunnings. They're like, no, we ran out.
Why do
man.
Bunnings sell toilet paper?
Who knows?
Fuck, I don't know.
Tradie's got to go, man.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
trading's going to go.
Yeah. How's your toilet paper situation right now?
We went to Costco
Yeah.
and they sell only bulk. So we bought 24. 24.
Just
yeah.
24.
When'd you go?
Just 24. I think it comes in a pack of 24.
Oh.
When did you go?
Friday.
Oh, shit. So
Friday.
fairly recent.
Yeah, because we were down to 3 left or something.
No
so
way.
we just bought. We
As
had
much
like
as
it
you
was
could.
our normal
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah.
It wasn't to go out and buy
some.
some.
Were they
Yeah.
stocked or
They were stocked, but one
bro.
Just one.
pack. I
Oh,
guess
no
one pack
way.
of 24. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. Now I
My
know
mum
where to go.
always buys it in bulk. Like, if she sees the deal,
But she's
she was-
Filipino, bro.
Exactly. So
Filipinos
she
do that.
wasn't worried about this the entire time.
Yeah.
My
They-
garage is just wall to wall, like turd tickets, so it's fine. So, like,
So tickets. I like.
I think it's safe to say big shout out to all the Filipino hoarder moms right there. You guys doing your
Yo,
family's
yo.
a service.
I mean, if
Yeah.
you get in the rolls and she walks by, she's like, I don't know, $4.99, 39 rolls. It's a deal. She's gonna work out everything.
Oh.
Hey, what's the worst thing your mum's ever hoarded? That's a fucking question, bro.
So I don't know.
I would think
Because my mom, she used to go to like garage sales.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah,
I like
to get
garage
to
sales.
buy secondhand things, and then she stores it for almost 8 months before she sends it to the Philippines.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a
Oh,
thing.
That's a classic thing.
It is.
That's a thing.
So the house starts to smell like plastic.
Oh, my
Oh
gosh.
yeah.
Yeah,
On top of the furniture too,
indeed,
plastic furniture.
plastic.
Bro, that's like
furniture.
every
your-
Filipino child's feels, man. Like, everyone feels that. Bro, my mum hoards, what do you call it? The plastic containers? I know a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking
the
about Tupperware?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think my mum used to sell it.
Oh, really?
I think
off.
she did.
I think all
Bro, my
Filipinos
mum was
know
your
that.
buyer.
She doesn't really hoard much. Like she doesn't panic buy. She just buys when she sees a saving. She'll buy shit tons of whatever it is.
Yeah.
But she doesn't hoard anything unnecessary.
That's good.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good.
Devin?
My mum gets rid of stuff. She doesn't hoard.
Good on your mom, man.
She gets rid of stuff, like even stuff that we use. Like it's just like
Okay.
1 week it's there, and then the next week it's not. And you go, Ma, where's that my thing? And she's like, oh, I gave it away. I go,
Oh, bro.
What was
that's
it?
not to give away. That's mine. So it's the opposite, but I don't know if that's any better.
Bro,
I
our
don't know
parents
if that's
gotta
any
meet.
better.
No, my
I
mum.
bet you if our parents meet, there's going to be a happy medium. Put it that way.
My mum does that as well, but with like like electronics. Like she'd be like, "Oh, you need that still? I'm gonna send it back to the Philippines."
Yeah.
And then like I'll visit and like someone's walking over with like my iPhone 3.
Oh, bro. Or your Nintendo 64.
Yeah, just
that was
like-
like number one heartbreak when I
it's
was a
just like-
kid.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes.
I'm just like, do they really want it? And she's like, they don't got anything like that there.
That's
And I was
true.
like, "Oh, yeah, true."
Yeah.
Does your mum, when you were still living there, does your mum always clean your bedroom?
No. I think it got to
No.
a stage where
She's scared of it.
no. I think it's like I don't know. As a child or as a teen, you just get angry and it's like, fuck, stop cleaning my room. And I think eventually, like,
But you like it now.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
Provided I don't, provided there's stuff in there that I don't want. You know what I mean?
Don't incriminate yourself.
Yeah,
Rick.
100. Oh,
Actually, no. One time, like years ago, my mum had this friend that was like kind of going through a gnarly, like a separation. I think it was like I can't remember what the exact family strife was, but they were going through this thing, and we were helping them out. And they asked us if we could come in and like help clean their garage. And like the son was like a cool dude, but it was a bit of a burnout. Like he was probably like the age I am now, but like he wasn't really going anywhere. Like, but he was still a nice dude. Like we were cleaning out the garage, and I think the week before he was telling me how much time he spent in the garage and that. And I was like, why the fuck didn't you clean it then? So whatever. So like me and my mum were there cleaning this garage, and there was this like a tall boy, and we were moving it, and like my mum shook something around, and this little satty fell out.
A what?
Oh, no way.
Satty fell
What
out.
is a satty?
Like a little satchel of like drugs. It was like a little crystal thing.
What type?
Yeah. Like I think she had shaken like a little vase, and then it came loose out of the thing.
Shabu.
Yeah, and this is the bad bit. This is the bad kind of bit. Like my mum gets the SETI and she's like,
Oh wow! What a
Shabu.
what a G!
and I was like, at first I was just like,
What
oh,
a
shit,
G!
the Shabu, and I'm like, oh, it's the sun's Shabu, but then I'm like, how the fuck do you know?
Bro, what a G!
It's just like, but it was like I knew it was the kids, and I was just like, that's why you're such a fucking dropkick. You're on the shabs.
I love how you went with that stereotype straight away.
Yeah,
right?
and then I looked at my mom and I was like, what the fuck? I don't ask any questions about that later, but I guess it's one of those things.
So Ricky,
Yo.
open source. Tell us about your company.
So essentially, what I do is like I run a creative collective. There's quite a few of us, and there's like more and more people joining like on a regular basis. But what we essentially specialize in is like events as well as digital content. We've been in operation for like about a year now. We ran like a bunch of, pretty much we just run underground parties, like that in a nutshell. And then ever since then, like we've just started to see like a bunch of like young and like emerging creative just revolve around us, and then everyone just wants to do their thing, but all pushing towards this like one big push. You know what I mean? So it's like there's a very like at this present moment, like there's a lot of buzz around like Western Sydney, and I guess never in my time anyway, I've ever seen like creative culture and creative communities, and even like local communities like take on to support like their local area and like Western Sydney as a whole like so strong.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, that's what you mean.
yeah, that's essentially what we do, man. Like the whole premise of open source as an organization is essentially unity. So unifying like all creative communities around us, even local communities, to a stage where we can sort of like formulate like a product where we all have fun with, you know what I mean? So it's like it's in the name, just like do whatever the fuck you want with the company, but like make sure the people after you can take that same product and sort of like excel with it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense. I know it's like sort of airy fairy, but you know,
I
honestly,
see
like
your
it's-
face, Dev.
I'm,
what thoughts do you have?
So like my head went straight to PCYC.
Yeah.
So it's like a PCYC for creative people.
We don't have a center base. We work with like a few, we actually work with like a lot of like local organizations like Street University, Mount Druitt, Bicep Blacktown, as well as another creative space that we work very closely with called Stonecutters in Glendenning.
Yeah.
And they're pretty much the hubs that we usually do our work in.
So Stonecutters is the golfing place?
No, it is, and it's like a warehouse in Glendenning, just off Power Street.
Wow.
And we've pretty much just got it's pretty much like now it's being turned into a co-working space. So it used to be a barber's. Now
Yeah.
that's shutting down. There's like a cafe in there as well. But yeah, we're pretty much turning the whole joint into like one big creative space. So we're gonna have like an infinity wall, green screens, meeting rooms, and a bunch of desks for just like people to fucking use and
Wow.
and
Yeah.
just
That's really
do
cool, man.
and just like do whatever creative projects that they want to do. So pretty much like a place for people to work with like-minded people.
I've been to
Wow.
one of the.
Yeah.
I want to go to this place.
I've been to one of his weekend events
Yeah.
where they had different designers. Is that correct, Ricky? And then
Which one was this?
this was last year, probably a little later before Christmas. You had one of those stonecutter events before the cafe shut down.
Oh, the market.
That's the one.
Yeah.
And it was quite a sight to see that much creative people in one area. Majority Filipinos, I can only
Yeah,
assume.
bro, that's the thing, man. Like,
Yeah.
bro, the Filipino community is so big, man.
Mm.
But like, I don't think we're not as well formulated as most communities. I think it could be like an intergenerational thing where like, I don't know, it's like
Like in the creative space type
Yeah.
thing.
I would say like just like
In
Filipinos as
general.
a culture. You know how like Filipinos like bitch about the Filipinos.
Yeah,
and,
bro.
like, there's like
Yeah,
a lot of
bro.
chismis and all that stuff that
it's-
goes
it's the
around.
worst.
We doing it 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know exactly. But yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's I think
For the culture.
I think with like as like a younger like the generation coming up now, like we're all sort of realizing that fuck, we just all need to get together.
I see
for
it.
this
I
one
get it.
big
Like, I get
push,
it as
you
well
know?
because there's a lot of Filipino. I think restaurants are probably a good example of it. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of Filipino
Yeah,
food around
wow,
now,
bro,
way more than
100%.
before. Like way more than before. Like, oh fuck, what are they like down in Mount Druitt?
Yeah. There's Mama Laws. That's at
Mama
Rudy
Laws-
Hill.
That place is good,
Bro,
bro. It's
I haven't
really
been.
good. You gotta go.
Oh,
It's really really good.
Bro,
Mama
there's
Laws.
another place called A-Team.
18.
Yeah, it's just down the road from Mama Laws. It's still in Rudy Hill, but bro, fucking the
And then, of
Filipino
course,
food there is fucking good.
Mate Burger as well, of course.
Yeah, just off Mount Druitt as well. Yeah.
You know what the biggest example is? I feel anyway is the Filipino festival.
Oh,
right?
Fiesta.
Yeah.
The Fiesta is
Fiesta.
supposed to be
When-
massive. The Fiesta is supposed to be us coming together as a
Such a
culture.
rip-off.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like
Such a
people,
rip-off.
it's like it's for us to celebrate.
Yeah.
And then people try to take advantage of it, and then they rip you off, and they hike the prices up,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
they
it's
change.
insane.
And it's like, bro, we're coming here to hang
Yeah.
out,
Bro,
with-
100.
and
For
then
the
it-
culture.
yeah, and it's never ever like that. People always want to put everyone else down, so they're above. Like the
Yeah.
only way they
Yeah,
go
yeah.
above is pushing other people down, and you're like, bro, if we go up, you'll go up as
Yeah,
well.
exactly.
Everyone will just go up.
Bro, that's just Filipino culture though.
I know that sucks. It
Fuck,
sucks so
bro.
much.
It's the
It
crab
sucks so much.
mentality, isn't it?
But you know what's important? The fact that we're talking about it now. Because like when people listen to this, especially like other Filipinos, are like they'll be like, oh yeah, fuck, that's true.
Yeah.
And then their mindset and their way of thinking will start to change.
Yeah, because
So-
the culture can get really toxic if
Yeah,
you really
man.
think about
Yeah,
it.
bro.
It's got a lot of toxic traits
Yeah,
in it.
bro. Even if you think about like your parents, how many times, like even if you think of like Tita and Tito beef,
Oh yeah, it's
bro,
mad.
that goes deep, bro.
What?
To the
Yeah.
point-
Tito and Tito beef?
yeah, Tito, like you know how like
When
if-
they
Familiar
go up
beef.
against each other?
yeah, family beef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes on
and-
forever.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
Over the dumbest things.
yeah, I know. Yeah,
You know what it is? I feel like it's like it was a small incident, right?
It
It was a
always
very
is.
small
Always
incident, and then they let it ferment.
Always
They
is.
let it sit
Oh,
there,
bro.
and then all of a sudden it gets really like, you know, when that like it's a glass, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's got
yeah.
like shit in there, and it goes moldy, and you just
Yeah.
look at it, and you go, I don't want to.
You just-
You do it, like
Yeah.
that's your job. Like, and then it gets to the point where it's like, you don't even know what you're arguing about. you
Yeah,
see
yeah,
that
yeah.
moldy water, and you're just like that's that family side of the family. You're like,
yeah,
bro,
fucking
That's
hell.
100%.
if you
what it
just
is.
chucked it out, it would have been gone.
I
You
know.
wouldn't even.
Fucking
Exactly.
hell.
So
You
if,
just
if,
dealt
if-
with it.
I think collectively here, right? It's safe to say we're quite westernized Filipinos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So we can really observe this type of drama mentality that we see in the culture, and hence the reason why we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
You know, and I've also noticed that again, the old school Filipinos, they love that drama.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
seems to be quite prevalent in the culture.
It's like you don't care if you don't have drama.
That is
Yeah.
correct. And I just don't understand it, you know, because I was in it and I didn't know I was part of a drama cycle. And because last year, or no, the year before, when I was studying NLP, I found out that drama cycle is this. So for any drama to exist, you gotta have a victim, somebody that creates a victim, which is a prosecutor, and then you got to have a rescuer. So it's a cycle of 3. And the only way you can be out of that is if you're in the observer space, which is where we're currently at.
Yeah.
And hence reason why we can kind of see it from the outside perspective and see that. It just makes me a little confounded. Why do people exist in that and thrive on it, especially the culture? I don't know. I guess it's just.
What else are you gonna do between church, bro? Like, what are you gonna do from Sunday to Sunday? Like, just.
So the question is why they get stuck in those loops or cycles?
Yeah, and it seems to be quite comfortable for them. I've just noticed this.
Maybe because, like, I don't know, you see it time and time again with like all your relatives and even like your parents and all this stuff, that it sort of it becomes the norm for you essentially. And then I don't know, like Dev and I were just talking about this like earlier, like you never really know until you're in it, and it takes like a long time to break out of it. It's like when you're in a negative space, you don't know you're in a negative space until you're like, fuck man, I really hate where I'm at right now. And it's like, okay, cool, I've got to like slowly claw up to become back into like a positive sort of frame, like a positive sort of like mind frame, you know what I mean? How do you know you're being emotional when you're in an emotional state?
That is a good fact. Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, and then when someone tells you you're being emotional, you're like, bro, fuck off. How the fuck am I being emotional? Fuck you.
Just relax, alright?
Yeah.
See what I mean? You get more angry.
Yeah.
Someone tells you to relax.
Until like you hit a peak and it's like, bro, I don't like this feeling. And then like I think and because we've been so like acclimatized to what that emotional state is, then you don't know. It's
you just don't know.
it's like you already recognize that feeling and you're already comfortable playing in that feeling. So then it takes from going from that feeling to an uncomfortable position in order for you to be like, okay, cool, this is something I'm not comfortable with. Something's got to change.
Yeah, but like all Filipinos aren't like that though.
No,
It's just like
no,
I want to be forever.
Yeah.
That is true. No, that is true.
That's true.
Absolutely true.
They love the beef. And
Yeah.
it's kind of funny, but like it's just like, what are you arguing? It's been 30 years. Like,
But in all honesty, beef
true.
is enjoyable sometimes.
if you're not in it and it's fine, it's not harming you. Like whatever, man. I watch my titas beef. Whatever, it's funny as.
That's a thing. Like like most Filipinos have got this topak about them, right? They've got topak, right?
Topak essentially means a little bit sideways.
Flick of the switch.
Flick of the switch.
Flick of the switch, mate. You know what I mean? Like you can.
I didn't know there was a word for that. I know that feeling.
Yeah,
I have it.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I feel like it's a good it's a good switch to have.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm cool with most stuff. But if you F with me, there's a flick and you just go, right, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
I feel ya.
And then you can just flick it off. It's good to be able to flick it off as well.
Yeah. But that's the fucking hardest part.
That's
bro.
the hardest part.
Flick off.
To flick off?
Yeah. You hit to flick off.
Even at the family barbecue, and you see it a lot with your uncles and that, and they'll be drinking around the barbecue and shit, and then it just gets heated for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, you turn away, and next thing you know, it's like,
Yeah.
and like you don't even know what they're arguing about. It could be like, we just got a brand new car, and like, just like that. You know?
Yeah,
Something
it's
stupid
like
that.
Weren't you invited? When was it? To Canberra at a given point by a politician.
Yeah. So, bro, there's like. That's still in the process now, like in the sense where...
What's the premise of that, Rick?
So, okay, so there's this... I don't know how much I can talk about this, but I guess I can, but like... there's this youth organization in Blacktown called BISA, Blacktown Youth Services Association. So they're at a point right now where they're pretty much trying to change the concept with how we look at like youth centers, essentially. So like if you look at a youth center, like majority of these youth centers are like are operating from like very, very like old frameworks and protocols and all this shit. So pretty much it's just like it's like a center to employ like all the demographics to be in touch with like a younger generation. And then like that alone is like is very, I don't know, like how does that make sense? Like, why can't a youth center be like a youth-led organization where they can sort of create their own, like, why can't like the youth like teach like a barber's course? Or why can't like the youth teach like teach like a barista course, or why can't like they run their own studio and stuff like that? Like, of course, with like the guidance from like mentors and people who have done that, but because that's the thing, like you don't want to create these big centers which are pretty much like babysitting spaces for people that, or for a younger generation that they don't know where the fuck to go. You want it to be you want that space to be productive. You know what I mean? And if it's not productive, then why the fuck do we have it?
So it's kind of like a bias for us.
Yeah, essentially. But like to answer your question, like while I was there, so we pretty much went over to Canberra to meet the youth minister, like Mr. Richard Colbeck, like who's a cool dude, by the way. Like, and he's like he understood where we were coming from, and he understood like what we were doing. But I don't know, as with all things like government and council and like
Takes
that,
a long time.
Yeah, it's like bro, the process and like is long.
It's just easy to
It's
build
long.
your own building.
Yeah,
and create your own space.
100%. And that's the thing, like they have to see proof. They have to see that it's being done. And like you can't change, like to change something from like a grassroots level is very hard. So like naturally, like want to go to the top and be like, okay, cool, this is what we're trying to do, and like pitch it to the top for it to trickle down. So but yeah, that's why I went to Tasmania. Yeah, but that was
So you said
Wait, Tasmania?
yeah
Tasmania.
Tasmania?
yeah, I was
Canberra.
in Tasmania. Oh no, Tasmania, not Canberra.
I was under the impression it was Canberra.
No, it's
My
Tasmania.
mistake.
Yeah,
My mistake
because
for
the
that.
dude
Yeah.
lives in Canberra. So like,
My
fuck
mistake
it.
for that.
No, the dude lives in Tasmania. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all the same shit. My bearings are fucking bad. Bro, legit, I go to the city. I don't know where the fuck I am, bro. I'm like, bro, town hall. I'm pretty sure I was in Redfern like a second ago.
So when you were growing up, did you want a space like this? Did
Nah, bro. Like growing up, like my mindset was like always like money. How could because like growing up, like a common thing that I always heard was like, oh, we don't have money for that. Like even to do karate, you know. Like I was like, oh, mom, can I have like $50 to pay like the monthly like karate fee? And I was like,
That's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Man. That's pretty good.
yeah. But then it was like, nah, like
We got no money.
Yeah, we have no money. Bro, I fucking hated that, man. So like,
Yeah.
as I was growing up, I was always trying to chase the buck, keep on
Yeah.
trying to like chase money.
Yeah.
And then like through shit that's through that progression of trying to like chase like money, like I realized like I don't know, it's not a lot of good comes from it, man.
No, it's not fun.
Yeah, not a lot of good comes from it, and it's made me do like a lot of things that I wouldn't like right now in this frame of mind I wouldn't want to do.
Yeah.
But I guess it's all part of growing up and learning.
Was there a situation that occurred for you to kind of deviate away from that?
Plenty.
Okay, but was there one particular, because there's always one situation that will always put you on the opposite direction.
Yeah.
I remembered you said 6 years ago something happened, you made that decision. This year you said you know what, I want to make a change for myself, so let's, you know, it always comes to that one point.
Yeah.
Can you recall that one point?
I can recall many points.
Okay.
I guess the start of the transition was like when I had like gone to the UK, for example, and then like, well, whilst I was over there, I was like involved in like finance and a lot of this stuff, and I started to realize like finance as an industry, especially when you go into these like shadier sides and like shadier like industries and whatnot, like you realize it's just all about like putting money from your pocket into my pocket. And then like everything you see online and then everything you see is all fake. Like everything is like it's exactly like Wolf of Wall Street, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then like whilst I was in, I was like, bro, I fucking hate my life.
Oh.
And I didn't really notice like how depressed I was. Like every morning I would wake up and I'd be on Facebook and Instagram just trying to like consume myself with everyone's life besides my own. Last thing at night, I'd be on Facebook and Instagram because I fucking like I hated what I was doing, you know. And then from there, like I came back to Australia, and then I was like, I just don't want to do that anymore, you know. So I guess that was the start of the transition. But yeah, it's even then was like even the moment I came back to Australia, that was even like a long transition to sort of like like trying to like find myself. Even now, like sometimes I catch myself. I don't think I know who I am, but I think it all comes back down to like am I enjoying what I'm doing, and like is and always coming back to like the root cause of like what I'm actually doing, which is like to help like my immediate community and like to make sure like everyone grows together essentially. Yeah.
Man, that is so rare.
He puts a lot of people first on a regular basis. I remembered when I was working with Ricky, he's always like that. He always asks people how they are, and he may have like, sometimes I could see in his face something's not right, but he'll always project that for other people, and he'll make you feel comfortable. I've experienced that. So what essentially you're seeing and hearing is just, there's something deeper in that.
Yeah.
So,
But well, thank you.
Rick, you're a big fan of I can't remember now this particular philosopher. I'm a big Jordan Peterson fan.
Yeah.
But you're listening to this guy, and at the top of my head, I cannot say it, where you just listen to his words constantly. Who is that?
There's been a few as of recent. Like I haven't really been like listen. I think at the time when we were talking, I think it was probably like Alan Watts.
Alan Watts.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
What's the thing with Alan Watts that gets to you?
Oh, bro, fuck. What if I'm in the spot, bro? Like, in all honesty, like a lot of like deeper insight.
Yep.
Of to like what life is at its purest essence. I guess with any of those like philosophers and any of those like deep thinkers, like I think it's just like for me personally, it's more of understanding different perspectives of life. And then like if someone else has already thought deeply about a certain topic or certain issue, and then hearing their sort of insight on that particular particular issue, then you can sort of take that in and then further elaborate on it. So even like go into deeper thought on one, your life, and two, like your overall surroundings. So it's like like we were coming back to like earlier, like consistently like taking in and then evolving like your thought process. It's like when you're doing jiu-jitsu, for example, someone's like teaches you, oh bro, look at this fucking cool triangle. Yeah, he teaches you that cool triangle, and then as you're doing it and you get like comfortable and familiar with that particular triangle, you think, oh wow, I can do it this way as well. And then that becomes like a deeper practice on your part. So that guy who taught you, he might be, that's probably, it's like where your paths meet and cross, and then they sort of like divert. And who knows, you guys may roll again, and you guys may do the same technique, but like execute it differently. And you're like, oh wow, that's fucking sick. I can't believe you took that and then did that with that. You know what I mean? So that's what I get out of listening to like a bunch of people. Like their thought process and their understanding on life, and then like, and how much they've taken out of it to sort of make me comfortable with my own, you know? What's up?
So, a year ago, I've been very curious about psychedelic experiences. And you've guided me on one of those. And I'm glad that you were there guiding me towards that. And it was one of the most profound moments I've ever had. I was able to see the world in a different way, and I came away with it with a lot of good lessons, to the point where I could say, from being a depressed person, being on antidepressants, to where I'm at right now, and getting that guidance from you, and getting those profound lessons, there was something else. I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad that you were there to kind of guide me towards it. How did that come about for you? And also, I'm gonna bridge onto that, because you told me some pretty interesting stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just start with that first question. Then after that, I'll expand on that a little bit.
So how did I come on to psychedelics?
Yeah. Was it more out of curiosity, or you read more towards it? Because for me, I had to read about it because of the fear about it.
Yeah. There's always fear in any type of new experience or new type of. If ever you're unsure of anything, like naturally there's gonna be like, oh, what is this? Like is this right for me? Is this gonna be good for me and stuff like that. The question was, how did I get into it?
Yeah. Was it because sometimes it's just purely recreational?
Yeah.
But for yourself,
Okay,
as I'm
okay,
talking
yeah,
to you,
yeah, yeah.
you're more of a spiritual guy.
Yeah.
There's more lessons
Yeah,
for there
yeah.
than you just going, I got smashed on the weekend. Ha,
Yeah.
ha, ha, ha. You're not like that.
I think I don't know. I don't really know where my mind was at when I had first tried it, but there was always that curiosity and like on what it is. I guess like seeing even like stories from like the 60s and 70s, like you hear of like Jimi Hendrix and whatnot, like when they were like fucking playing that guitar, and then he'd have like fucking like 5 acid tabs on his on his bandana, and then like he'd like have like 2 acid tabs on his tongue, and then like he'd be playing, and then like everyone would be like, whoa, that was the fucking craziest set I've ever heard. And his sweat would just be dripping in acid like into his like eyes and his like mouth and stuff like that. And it's those type of sort of like stories.
I've never heard this story.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but
Wow.
I've heard
Yeah.
how legendary he
I was like a big
with
Hendrix
this.
fan. I never heard that.
There
Yeah.
you go. There you go.
oh that's what I'm probably wrong.
Was that what inspired you to kind of?
Nah, it's just like you hear those type of stories a lot, and like for example, what's his name? Who's the guy from Apple?
Steve Jobs.
Yeah,
Steve
Steve
Jobs,
Jobs.
yeah.
Steve Jobs, for example, like how he came up with the idea of like Apple was like that sort of
psychedelic?
guided him. You know what I mean?
So a psychedelic trip before the creative process.
Yeah, but like for me, essentially, like after doing it and having done it, like
Yeah.
my understanding of like of substances as a whole, they're all just like perspective altering. You know what I mean? So if I'm in
Agreed.
my sober state and I'm looking at life like this sort of way, and then like I can't see anything else, like tunnel vision essentially. So like ingesting a substance or of any sort may allow me to like step outside that tunnel and see the tunnel as a whole, and to see like what the tunnel actually is. Like, do I want to keep going down this tunnel, or should I step aside and like take a different tunnel or go a different path?
Yeah.
So it's sort of like, for me, like it's helped in sort of guiding and steering me in that sense. But in saying that, like I feel like substances can be beneficial, and it can also be like very, very, very detrimental. If anyone is listening to this, and if anyone is like sort of like curious on where this path sort of takes you, like I guess one, like you should only ever get into it if you feel that you are ready and you are sort of like well researched. And also like look at the end user, you know what I mean? Like see what like we were talking about Shabs earlier. See what the end user of Shabs looks like, you know?
Yeah.
And then see what the end user of someone who of a stoner, of like someone who like smokes like weed, see what he looks like. See what the end user of someone who's taken like LSD and mushrooms, and like see what they look like.
Yep.
Like see like 20 years like before they have had ingested that substance, you know?
Yep.
And then you could sort of see what direction that path is going to take you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So
100%.
it's, I don't know if that answered your question as to like what got me into it, but like I guess curiosity got me into it. Yeah.
So, which makes me expand to the next question that I have. How deep did you go, brother? Because you told me a story, and to this day,
Yeah.
I can't shake it off. It's still in my head. Can
We-
you?
I don't know which. Okay, like that's the thing. Like, because it is perspective altering, and because it does, because like my experience may not be like the same as your experience,
Nah.
like so on and so forth.
But
but
you
like-
went to a different dimension. You said.
I guess like going into it, you naturally feel like you're somewhere different, and you sort of like feel like where is this place? Like it feels comfortable and it feels like familiar. But at the same time, it can be scary if you're not open to it or if you try to fight it. I guess like the real magic happens like in your sober state. Like what did you learn from it, and like what did you take from it? Like I remember like the first couple of times like I had ingested like LSD and acid, probably even the first three times, like bro, that like it sort of like widened my perspective as to like what like what this godlike entity is, like what the universe actually is. But at the same time, it deepened it like increased my ego to a sense where like I thought I was God, and I thought everyone revolved around me. And that's what like, and then like as much as I think that was beneficial for me, like that was like mentally that's a really big mind fuck. And then I would like step into a room thinking, bro, I'm God, and like thinking that everything revolved around me. And then it was only after like constant slaps in the face, like you know how life just slaps you, you, and it just tells me, no, like you're this one big thing, just having like a Ricky or a Richard experience. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's understanding that like talking about systems within systems within systems, like everything is in unison, like everything is numbers, like everything is like one big like sort of like big ecosystem that sort of works hand in hand with one another. Like but to understand that you're just having this like minor role or this minor part in it. Fair enough, you are it, but making sure that doesn't get to your head, if that makes sense. I know I've said like if that makes sense a lot, but like I don't know if any of that sort of like.
I guess I'm curious about this entity that you met in one of your trips, because again that's the thing that resonates with me. Like you said, you. So
you want to hear about like the site, like
I kind of want to hear about that because everybody's different.
Yeah, so there's a few, man. Like one time, like so I had just like I had taken like mushrooms, and then
the hero's dose or beyond that.
No, just like trying to like get beyond like my thought pattern. Like so I was in it, and then I don't know, and then I was sort of meditating for a bit, and then I was like closing my eyes, and I had come across like beings.
Such as?
Like two like aliens. Like
what? How did they look like?
Yeah, they were like tiny. So they were tiny, but this is all in my imagination.
Sure.
This is all in
was it like a formless entity?
No, it was like what's it called? It was have you ever watched like Men in Black?
Yeah.
Remember how they tugged on the ear?
Yeah.
And that little thing was there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean that little thing in that dude's head?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, so it's like two of those things. But at the same time, it was in my head. But at the same time, it felt so real. And then like one of them turned around to me and just smiled. Yeah. And then like naturally you open your eyes and it's like, oh wow. But man, like there's even fucking deeper shit, man. Like even when.
Such as?
So I went through a trip when I was like I had like ingested like DMT. I had like taken DMT, for example. So I did it twice in the one night. And then the first time I had done it,
like you did it twice, two doses
twice.
of DMT.
Yeah. So then when I was,
oh my god.
So the first time I had done it, like
Jesus.
So I went into it, and naturally you sort of like get knocked out in a way where like you're in like a different dimension. But then everything feels familiar, like it genuinely feels like you're there.
Did you have that rocket ship effect, as most DMT people say?
I actually don't know because I don't think I've done. That was the only 2 times that I've done it, so I don't know how. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, so you just woke up.
Yeah,
okay, yeah, just woke up.
So then, like, but the thing, you don't wake up. You're just there the whole
You're
time.
just there.
It's
okay.
like you're unconscious the whole time, and then out of nowhere, like everything's black. And then if you guys have you guys watched Stranger Things?
Yeah.
So Stranger Things, and then that big Demogorgon monster type thing.
The massive butthole.
Yep.
Yeah, the massive butthole. Like that was over me, bro. And that was over me, and then it was just like standing right over me. And as it was standing right over me, it was going, oh, you're not in control, we're in control, stuff like this. But like you're not scared.
Whoa.
No, like you feel, and then like you just feel comfortable. It's like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. And then out of nowhere, it just started choking me, and I was just there on the bed, just going like that. And then after, like, it let go, and it was like going like, come here, and then it was like, it felt like it was grabbing my soul, and like my soul was lifting out of my body like this.
Jesus Christ.
And like my head was going up, then my chest was going up, and then out of nowhere, as like my soul was sitting up and my body was like here, then like my gut was saying nah. Like my gut was the only heaviest part saying, oh shit, no, stay. And the moment like my gut was saying stay, like my soul came back into my body, and then I just woke up going, bro, that was different. No, but you don't, like, it's not scary, man.
That sounds like the worst.
I
Yeah, bro.
I love the reaction.
I was almost having anxiety just
Yeah.
listening to that.
No, but then that happened, and I was like, oh fuck. And then afterwards, I was like, oh cool, I think I'm ready for another one. So then,
Wait, how long was that?
I felt like it was 30 seconds.
But how
Because
long-
like everyone tells me like it feels like you're in there forever. So as I went in, I was like conscious of time. I was like, oh, is this it? Is this it? Is this it? I just kept saying that. Is this it? Is this it? Is this it?
Oh shit.
And then I
When
was
you're
like,
in there, do you have like full autonomy over the like your representation of yourself? Like your let's call it your avatar. Like in
Yeah.
space. Do you have full physical autonomy of yourself? Or
Uh,
is it like you're on a train?
I would
Like, if
say a
you-
bit of both.
If you
God
so you-
damn.
Yeah, I
you're
would-
there, right, and you can move your arm. You move.
Yeah. Like
Do
I
you reckon you can go back in and put it back on the Demogorgon?
don't know. I don't know.
Like you could if you wanted.
I don't know. I don't know.
Armbar or something.
Yeah, I don't know. But
I was wondering, like, when you're in that space, like, and you're moving your body, like, can you move your body? Can you move through space?
Yeah.
Is that the thing?
sort of like a lucid dream type thing.
Yeah,
Is that what you're
yeah.
saying?
That's what I'm saying.
It feels like a lucid dream, but then that's the thing.
A bit like sleep paralysis at the same time.
Yeah, I've never explored it to the sense where like I was just like sort of like going with the flow and enjoying the ride type of thing.
Whoa.
So it's like I don't know if I don't know how much you can control.
Bit of a spicy ride.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
so yeah, that was the first time. The second
Whoa.
time was a lot better though. So the
Okay,
second time,
okay, yeah. So,
So then-
talk to us about the second time.
I like the confidence and the persistence. Like, you know what, that was bad. Let's go again.
I'll do
Yeah.
it
I
again.
love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
I would shit my pants, bro. I
I'm
can't,
really uncomfortable
yeah.
in that situation.
I'm having
It's
like
weird.
I don't feel good right now.
Yeah.
Just listening to it.
It's really
because-
weird that your mind cooked that up.
yeah.
Like that's the thing that it wanted to cook up. It didn't
Yeah.
want to cook up anything good for you.
Oh, but like, could it be the mind, or could it be like some like collective sort of? It was that.
Even if it was a
had to
collect-
show me at the time.
Even if it was like
You
a
know?
collective entity outside our own understanding, they're pretty slack.
Damn.
Dog
I feel like
moves,
I
bro.
came out of it better. Put it that way. So I don't think it was that quite slack. I don't know. Who knows?
Okay, so second time, I'm curious. Please
Uh,
talk
so
to us
so
about
the second time when I went in, like as I was going in, so I was conscious to keep my eyes open the whole time.
Yeah.
So then I kept my eyes open, then out of nowhere the room transformed into like a spaceship. And as the room transformed into a spaceship, one of those circular spaceships, and I was looking around and there was like alien heads but all around me, just looking straight down at me. And then they were just there. It just felt like they were all, bro, it just felt like they were all examining me. And I was like, and then I was going deeper into it. I was like, bro, like, where the fuck am I? And then as I was going deep, what happened? So I was staring into like the light bulb up ahead. And then I was like, okay, cool, I'm done. And I was about to get out. And then I don't know, the light bulb would move and say, no, like it'll talk too. And it will go, no, like you stay here. We have to heal you. And then it'll put me back in a trance. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll stick around. And then that happened like 3 times. Every time I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to get out. And the moment I tried to get out, and then I just went, fuck it. I'll close my eyes. And then it sort of like released like whatever was there. And it turned out to be this beautiful like mother spirit, you
Whoa.
know? And it had
Whoa.
felt like, and I think just before this, like my
Whoa.
grandma had passed away. So it's like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So
It was last year. Yeah.
yeah, so it was
Yeah.
like trying to like come to terms with that.
Yeah.
Like it felt like my grandma was there, but then she wasn't like sort of connected to that spirit. But it felt like my mother was connected to that spirit.
Whoa.
And then it was just like floating around, and then it had said like, "Oh, tell your mother I'm really proud of her." And then like when that moment happened, like I sort of had like a tear that came down my eye, and I was like, "Okay, cool." And I went to go up, and it was like, "Oh no, we've got to heal you first." And then the moment I got up, like it pushed this force field down on me, and you could see the force field. It's like physical, bro. And then it was like holding me down, and as it was holding me down, like you could see like these weird like angels come by, and then like they just gravitate like above and beyond me, and then like wherever like they flew, like if they flew like towards my chest, I could feel the energy in my chest. And then and then like when they go down, I could feel it like from my knees to my feet, up and down, up and down, up and down. And the moment they're like, okay, cool, it's good. And then like I stood up and I was like, okay, cool. It was just weird. The first time was like a male entity, which is like very like heavy in a sense. And then the second time was like a female entity, which was like very like light in some way. So it's just weird just to get those 2 different types of like dualities in the one experience. So yeah, but
God
yeah,
damn.
that's my experience. Like
They both sound
I-
pretty
I-
bad.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, well,
Wow.
whatever you guys take from that is whatever you guys take from that.
Ooh,
It's pretty sweet, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you, like you said this, you said beyond my mind pattern. So you were doing this to get beyond your normal train of thinking, like, or your cycle. You were trying to break that cycle.
Are you talking about
Like before you took the LSD.
yeah. Are you talking about that experience or the ones that I was talking about previously?
Does it break? Do both of them break your?
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say so. Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, if you're sober the whole time, like your sober state is like in like just looking like in a particular direction, but then
Yeah.
like another substance will sort of like break that,
Alter it.
and like it's not that I'm like saying that like for me substances have been beneficial for
Yeah,
like
yeah.
understanding. For someone else it could be detrimental.
Right.
So it's like before anyone thinks about ingesting or taking on like these like any type of like mind altering sort of like experience or substance, because you can even do this just by breathing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's exercises that you can do that sort of puts you in that sort of like that same like sort of psychedelic trip and that psychedelic state as well.
Yeah.
But like in saying that, like always do your research, man,
Yeah,
and make
yeah.
sure like you're in a comfortable settings, comfortable surrounding. Make sure you trust whoever's around you.
Yep.
And yeah, that's all it is. Like as long as you feel the love, and
Yeah.
if there's any sense of doubt,
just relax.
yeah. I don't know. Like I don't know. If there's doubt, like listen to your gut. If your gut say no, 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 then don't do it.
Okay, so I had
It's getting hot.
the reason why I was able to be open about the psychedelic trip is because Ricky was there to guide me
Yeah.
through it. And as I said, it was one of the most profound experiences I've ever had.
Right.
It's so profound, I don't want to try it again because I'm in a good place right now.
Right.
It's a substance where it is not addictive. I actually microdosed as well, and I'm open about that, but I've stopped completely. But my experience with Rick, before we went through the trip, he guided me on a lot of things. And at the start, it was quite euphoric. I went out and I saw the sky in a different way. There was fractals and everything, and all of a sudden I could see the universe in a different light. Because you know how stars essentially they're already dead and whatnot, and they're light years away, and the brightness of it dictates how close they are to you. And for my head, it just kind of clicked on the infinity of space and how insignificant we feel. And then as I start to feel I was halfway, I went in, and it just so happens I had my rib popped out because I was prepping for a comp, and I was watching YouTube. And then all of a sudden, when we were watching YouTube, I saw this image of a lady, and it just stayed there. And then all of a sudden, it got animated. And I told Ricky, and I was feeling the pain in my rib, and said, "Ricky, this is not comfortable right now." And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna get anxious. I'm gonna have an anxiety attack," because I was very prone to that in Sweden. So I started to hyperventilate a little bit. Ricky naturally saw what was happening. He just told me, "Eric, what's going on? I saw something in YouTube. It's resonating in my head. I can't get the image in my head. Keeps playing. It's getting very animated. I'm looking into the couch a little bit in the couch patterns, and I can see the couch patterns are starting to really move, almost like snakes. And then the wall was breathing and everything. And then he just goes, "All right, look around you." And I did. You're in a place of love.
Yeah.
I have nothing but the best intentions for you.
Mhm.
Look at everybody around here.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when he pointed that to me, I felt so much love and gratitude
Wow.
that I've never, that combination made me very emotional,
Yeah.
that I was close to tears.
Huh.
And when you come out of that, you realize how good life is. And
amazing.
if I didn't have, like with what Ricky's saying, it could be detrimental
Yeah.
if you don't have somebody that does it. If you're just doing it for, that's it, I'm gonna get messed up this weekend, right, let's do it.
Yeah.
if you went with that foresight and mindset going into it, yeah, you'll definitely have a challenging trip. But because of the fact that he was there, I took so much away from it, and it I could honestly say, from me doing a lot of therapy sessions in my whole life,
Yeah.
especially when I was depressed, that those 4 or 5 hours were more beneficial than the 4 years that I've done therapy.
Right.
Yeah, because it made me appreciate life even more and people that I love.
So that the therapy didn't change the brain pattern, the mind pattern that you had.
I think I mentioned this in the previous podcast. When you go to therapy, is you're trying to get your story straight.
Yes,
Because
that's right.
Yeah, you're
that's
trying to
what
get that straight because you're so fractured in your head from traumas and whatnot that you don't know what's up and down.
Yeah.
And coming from, again, touching onto the Filipino culture, with what you were saying about our parents not having enough money and you trying to just make money and whatnot, that was also my mindset. So when you said that, it really resonated with me. So I didn't know exactly what direction of life I had.
Yeah.
It's superficial. It's almost like society's dictating where you should be, versus all of a sudden you feel love and gratitude. It recenters you, but that's what I took out of my challenging trip. Thanks to Ricky, of course.
No, it's all you, bro. It's all you.
Like, because you said Steve Jobs, right? He came up with his he went to India and stuff, right? During his and then he had his enlightening.
Yeah.
And then he came back with this hunger and determination, like, I'm gonna do this company, right? Is that like, how did
it come together?
Yeah, how did it come together?
So whilst I was like first initially, like, I guess it wasn't just the substances that had pushed me towards this direction. I guess the substances sort of like helped me become sure of myself, as well as to like sort of understand what the environment around me.
Yeah.
But naturally, like, as far as like my community goes and like society and everyone and like everyone around me, like naturally this was going to sort of happen.
Okay.
So like everyone was doing their thing and stuff like that. Like, to give you context, like whilst I was like sort of experimenting, I was sort of like working on a startup that had been trying to do for like 3-4 years, thinking it was like the next best thing. I was gonna like, this is, like youthful exuberance. Like everyone thinks they've got the fucking, especially in the startup culture, everyone thinks they've got the fucking best shit, But so that sort of happened. And then I think it was more of like a realization of like seeing, because like a lot of my friends are like musicians and creatives and all this stuff, and just seeing what they're all doing and just noticing like, oh wow, like there's like a massive gap within like the area in like Western Sydney. Like everyone's going to like the city to party and like and try, like, and they're all just like breeding and cultivating the culture out there,
Yeah.
Like, why not bring that back like to where we live and like breed the culture and cultivate like and cultivate and bring together like the communities there.
Yeah.
So that we could be proud of where we are. Because I'm from like Mount Druitt, Blacktown, man.
Yeah.
Like growing up in high school, everyone was going, bro, I can't wait to fucking get out of here. Can't wait.
You can where did you grow up? Around that area too?
What school did you go to?
I went to Loyola. Loyola and Clare.
Oh, to Mass.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. All right.
We're proper representing,
I grew up in St. Clair, so it was like...
Oh, true.
less-
Yeah, exactly.
less-
Yeah. No, I feel you, man. But yeah, that was like the common thing, man.
Yeah.
But then now, if you like, bro, everyone is repping Western Sydney.
Yeah, right.
Everyone.
Wow.
It's good.
Yeah.
I'm proud of it as well.
Yeah.
I'm proud to be from Western Sydney.
Yeah.
I wasn't before. Like, I
Yeah.
started working in the city when I was like 19, and they'd be like, "Oh, where are you from?" Like, Penrith.
Yeah. Like, no one would say.
You don't want to say like, you don't want to say you're from Andrew. You're like, I'm
Yeah.
from Penrith. Oh, okay. There's white people there.
Bro, I had
Right.
like I heard of people like whenever someone would ask them where they're from, they'd be like, I'm from the hills. And they'd be like, oh, what part of the hills? Oh, Rudy Hill, Bro. Like that type of shit, man. I'm like, bro, like, just say where you're from. Like
There's nothing
that
wrong
tripped
with-
me out,
There's
bro.
absolutely nothing wrong with being from
The
Rudy Hill.
hills.
Yeah.
That's good. It's really good that you're like capitalizing, like you're harnessing like the creative energy of like Western Sydney.
Yeah,
Because there's a lot of it there.
Bro, like
but
I would say there's like, bro, even if you think about right now, like the biggest like cultural hotspot right now, I would say in Sydney as a whole is Western Sydney.
yeah.
Like everyone's looking like most of the music now is coming out of West.
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
Like
right.
within like bro, like 1-4 from Mount Druitt,
Yeah.
Hooligan Hefts and Doonside. That's like two suburbs away.
from Toonside.
Yeah, that's like two suburbs away from each other, you know? And they're like two of the like big like the most poppin' like artists right now.
Oh, wow.
And it's like to know that that's all coming from like within that vicinity, within like the Chifley region. Like that alone is fucking mind blowing, man.
So what does that exactly tell you if there's a lot of these creative types, musical groups coming from that? Clearly there is a sense of inspiration that
Yeah.
they draw out from the area.
Detention and
definitely-
Loyola. I think they were Loyola dudes.
Nah.
Are they not?
No.
Oh, wow.
Chifley and I don't know. Like I don't want to speak on it because I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're from the area though.
Yeah.
From the area.
Yeah. What were you saying? Sorry.
No,
Eric?
yeah, like obviously I don't live around that area,
Yeah.
but with what you're saying, majority of the creative types coming from Western Sydney.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in Western Sydney, but not knee deep into that.
Yeah.
What do you notice that you're capitalizing on currently that makes it that? Is it the environment per
Yeah.
se? Is it the people?
Yeah.
Or is it a hive collective mind? Or is it rough maybe?
So
Is it good?
the question is like what do I feel like I'm capitalizing on right now?
Well, what is the common ground of people getting this much inspiration to be this creative coming from these places?
Well, so to rephrase what you said, like with the whole capitalizing thing, like I wouldn't necessarily say capitalizing. I would say more like cultivating.
Yeah, I stand corrected.
But why I think it's currently happening, I don't know, man. Like, bro, eventually, like you keep saying something shit, and eventually you're gonna see the beauty in it. I think that's what's happening right now, man. Like, bro, for a long
Boom.
time, everyone's been
Right
saying,
there.
bro, this is shit, this is
Boom.
shit, this is shit.
Wow.
And then now people are coming
Damn.
up saying, bro, this is actually cool. We should have got something here, man. And all it does is it just takes for like one person to sort of like flip the switch, the tupac, you know?
Yeah.
and then everyone else sort of
Nice.
like jumps on board and then joins the train. Because you know what it's like, no one likes to fucking jump on board like a train at a standstill. Everyone likes to jump on board
It's
and like
moving.
and everyone notices the train whilst it's moving, you know?
The band
That's what's
track.
happening right now. Like the train's currently moving.
I wish it was cool to be a Westie when I was like young.
Nah, bro, that's the thing. It's always been cool, man. Like it's just like it's within it. It's within.
I know.
Like do you think it's cool? Then naturally, if you think it's cool, like it comes out. Like
Yeah.
it is like it exuberates or whatever. But like I say, like my role like is to like to help facilitate like the emerging creatives coming up right now, and to sort of like set the foundation in order for this whole front to be unified. But then there's a lot of people doing it right now. It's not just myself. Like everyone that's in it to be in it, like knows the go, which is the crazy thing. Yeah, I think it's because it's all a matter of like real recognize real. Like naturally, you sort of see a front, and like coming from Western Sydney, we're always we see the front because it's like it's our current like surroundings. Like naturally, if you see someone who you feel is like they're not right, like everyone around you sort of like sees that. But whereas you go like, oh, I'm probably making assumptions now, like talking about the city and whatnot. But like, I don't know. It's different. That's the only thing I could say. It's different. And the only way to sort of experience, like, how do you explain an experience? You can't explain an experience. Like, you have to directly be involved in the experience to understand what the experience is. And to understand what Western Sydney is, you have to actually come into Western Sydney and be a part of Western Sydney. There's a lot of people trying to claim they're from Western Sydney now because it's cool.
Well, wait.
You know what I mean?
People from like the outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like, I've met a couple of Safari Westies before. Like
Safari Westies.
people on Safari.
Yeah.
Like, like there's one girl I knew who was like, I think a relative of the girl that I was dating once. she used to come down and go to Eljana's all the time. And she's
Yeah.
like she started talking like she's from the area, but she's from the fucking beaches.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like it's weird because it's just like out of all like the personalities that you want to add to your own personality,
Yeah.
you want to be like a chick from the area.
Yeah. Bro, but that's the thing, man. Like
That's
we're
wild. Like
we're currently going through like a process of gentrification, man.
Hmm.
And that's the fucking craziest thing. Like when, like, bro, like never in my life did I think like Manjot was gonna go through a process of gentrification.
Really?
but I don't see it as like
bro,
a
look at
fascinating.
Blacktown, man. Look at all these fucking look at all these
Yeah,
like, there's, bro.
right.
How many high rises are there right now in Blacktown? I think
Yeah.
like 3 are popping up. Manjot, there's one popping up right now.
Yeah, I find
So
that
it's
weird.
like-
Like, I found it weird because like when I was growing up, Blacktown was flat.
Yeah.
Mandurah
Yeah,
was
yeah,
flat,
flat.
right?
Yeah.
And now I go down Sunny Holt Road and I just say, okay, geez, that's a big building.
Yeah,
And it's by itself.
Yeah.
And, like for a long time, it was just one by itself.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, they're nearly finished. Like, when you can, like, they're about to sell. I'm like, it looks weird. They're like, everything's flat, and you see this penis right in the middle of
know.
Blacktown. It's
I
like,
think-
what the
bro,
hell?
buildings are very phallic, man. Like,
a lot of that has to do because like up on the other side of the bridge, they don't really like grant a lot of high rise like apartment. You know, like the council doesn't really
Yeah.
allow a lot of, but they'll allow a lot of it here. So they'll be like, yeah, so there's like a disproportionate amount of people living out west and there is
Yeah.
out on the other side of the bridge.
Yeah.
When it should be equal,
yeah.
but they don't like brown people on that side.
Fuck
Of
it.
the bridge.
Yeah.
I'm having a laugh now. I'm just,
Yeah,
it's crazy how
yeah.
big it's getting. Like Parramatta itself is getting like
Parramatta
massive.
is getting
Yeah.
big.
Like that massive skyscraper right next
Yeah.
to the train
Yep.
station.
Yep.
It's
Bro,
gonna
insane.
be. It's
Give it
gonna
like
be
10
big.
years. It'll be
yeah.
as big as the CBD.
So that affirms that Western Sydney is going in the up and up then.
Bro, without a
Right.
fucking doubt, man. Without a doubt.
So, what's Western Sydney? Or like, how would you define Western Sydney
It's
from
not geographical,
Parramatta?
it's an attitude, bro.
Yeah, bro,
Oh, yeah,
I would
is
actually
it?
say the same thing. I
Okay.
would actually say the same thing. But like, I don't know, man.
What
like,
is the attitude then? Let me ask the question. What is the attitude of Western Sydney? Like, how would you? How do you know?
Good question.
How do you know? Like,
That's a
are you
good
just walking
question.
down the street and you just give the nod? You go, yeah, I don't know,
Yeah.
bro.
You know a West, you know a Westie when you see one. You
Yeah.
know a Westie when you talk to one. as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Like when
Yeah.
I'm at work, I only really get on with like 2 people, and they're both Westies.
All right. You know the Peel. What's that? What's the comedian? Peel and
Keen Peel.
Keenan Peel.
Yeah.
And he's walking. He's the president.
The Obama thing?
The Obama skit. And he's
Yeah.
walking. He's like, "Hey, how are you? Hey, brother." And then he goes to the. Oh yeah, hey,
Yeah.
good on you.
I don't know. It's really weird because like Western Sydney is like inherently like working class. It always has been. Even
Yeah.
though like
That's true.
even though like the kids of the working class people have gone to school.
Yeah.
So like my parents are working class. I went to school.
Yeah.
But like I still retain like the carefreeness of being working class, like not very strict or loose or anything. You know what I mean? Like I'm not very like people that not very polished. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just
Right.
kind of like a bit of a larrikin.
Yeah.
Like that's the energy. Like that's the Western.
Well, you don't just take yourself too serious. You
yeah.
gotta, like-
Yeah. It's not like
Yeah.
very super serious taking. And
Yeah.
You don't like
You can laugh at
you can
yourself.
laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
And it's just like you're not like you're not very uptight. And
Yeah.
I think that's the attitude. Like you go to any part of like Western Sydney, and everything is like the tone is different.
Yeah.
So I think like that is part of the attitude, like definitely part of the identity.
Does Southwest have that identity? Is that a whole different culture?
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah.
Me personally, I think I know a lot of people like to put like a lot of divides. Like technically, I'm putting up a divide right now by purely like saying Western Sydney. But bro, I think just like everything as a whole
Everything,
is
right.
is West Syd,
I
and then
like
like everyone sort of, as long as everyone can sort of like work well with one another,
Yeah.
then I think that's what like essentially really matters.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
But I would say they have the same. They deal with the same sort of
So, yeah.
struggles and,
They've got the same
things
sort of
that-
problems
yeah.
we have this way.
Yeah.
In terms of like counseling and whatnot.
yeah, but just different like sort of like, oh, you eat at that chicken shop, I eat at this chicken shop type of thing. You know?
yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
And it's kind of
Wow.
good because like you grow up here and it's not like you see a lot of culture. Like a lot of you exposed to a
bro.
lot of culture.
Yeah,
and I
different.
don't know what it's like on the other side of the bridge or anything like or North Sydney or Rose Bay or anything like I don't know what it's like there. I imagine it's like predominantly Anglo middle class. But I wouldn't
Yeah.
know.
I don't
It's
know.
not really up there a lot. But
I guess they're like their sort of size probably having the same type of like bizarro world. I don't know if you guys watch Seinfeld.
Yeah.
They're probably got the
bizarre-
same podcast,
Yeah,
but with their
yeah.
community, their culture,
Yeah.
saying the same shit about us. How sick would that be?
if you are on the other side of the bridge,
Gotta do a
hit
joint
us up.
workout.
Hit us-
Just team up.
So with the upcoming talent,
Yeah.
is there anyone coming through?
Bro, there's a lot.
A lot?
There's a lot. I suggest everyone jump on the open source Instagram
Boom.
page, opnsrc.co.
So you
Find out everything coming
you,
together.
You really use this platform to push these guys up, like really, really good
yeah,
talent.
yeah. Like it's all there to support like emerging creative and emerging growth.
Wow,
To,
good on
to
you,
tell
eh?
their stories and stuff.
Yeah, and, like just to give people like a spotlight. Because like
That's right.
me personally, like I feel like my purpose, like I'm really here for like unity as well as bringing awareness to those around me. Open source is an organization that's mainly for like cultivating community, culture, as well as like collaboration. So if I bring those two together, that's essentially like what I'm doing in a nutshell.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you hear how he just kind of used that statement? I'm here to bring these people together. It's almost like you just took ownership, and
Yeah.
you have that realization to kind of just.
Cause you got to, bro. Like in all honesty, man. Like if I don't do it, who the fuck's gonna do it? I can either wait for the next. I can if I don't do this, like then growth sort of stifles. You know, not just because of me, because like is anyone else gonna take like this spot, or is anyone else gonna take ownership of trying to do this? Fair enough, someone may take over it, but will it be now? Will it be 10 years? Will it be 20 years? Like who knows?
Man, it's so nice to see you're passionate about this. man.
Yeah, bro. Like I
it's-
tell you what, I get tired though.
That's hard.
Yeah, I'm coming into that stage where I'm just like, bro, this needs to feed me now, which I'm foreseeing it coming. So
I hope so, man.
Yeah.
You deserve a lot of great things
thank
ahead
you,
of you.
thank you.
Man, Ricky, thank you so much.
Anytime, thank you very much for having me. Like in all honesty,
Dev, is there anything?
No, I'm all good.
All right, all. Click to subscribe, but also check out Ricky's page.
Open source.
Exactly that. And everybody, buck on.
buck on,
Buck on.
buck on, buck on. Do you have hand signals?
No, I just like doing shaka.
Shaka, buck on.